Launched at the World Economic Forum in January 2020, it's grown into a global movement accelerating change to ensure the SDGs are reached by 2030. Fueled by passion, our 550 members working in 175 countries have collectively put in an amazing 50,000 volunteer hours, touching the lives of 2 billion people. And we're driven by values, to which we hold ourselves accountable. 2020 was a busy year, co-creating 3 reports with partners and producing one of our own. Inviting high-level guests to participate in the Catalyzing Change campaign, hosting fireside chats and expert hours, which will be continuing in 2021. To celebrate our achievements, together we placed our supporters in the limelight with the first Catalyst 2030 Awards for Systemic Change. With the blessing of the Dalai Lama, we celebrated finalists and winners in the following categories: special recognition for our early supporters, individual philanthropists, donor organizations, philanthropic intermediaries, corporate organizations, bi- and multilateral organizations, and 4 regional winners in the category of national governments. And now on to Catalyzing Change Week 2021. During this social entrepreneur-led event, we bring together diverse stakeholders in over 100 sessions to showcase their systems change efforts and the best practices that can accelerate our work in pursuit of the SDGs.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here and glad you are here. And thank you. I just want to thank you for the Catalyst 2030 to showcase and host this meeting. We want this meeting to be a very, very relaxed and easy meeting. So just feel free to post your questions. We're going to have a Q&A and also breakout rooms so we can talk more freely. I'm going to be giving you a little presentation on what we do at the Green Revolution Foundation, and some other people, our volunteers, are going to be joining in and giving you some update. So let me introduce myself. I'm Attila Shuba. I'm the founder of the Green Revolution Foundation from Amsterdam. And you joined here because you've seen that we have the global solution for the climate crisis. Just I'll give you a background. I studied economics and social psychology and philosophy, but in the last 14 years of my life, I've been traveling as a blues singer. And I'm from Budapest, Hungary, but I moved to Amsterdam 2 years ago to do the same thing. But because of the Corona crisis, you know, music stopped, and I had this idea to open a climate action foundation. So I opened it last summer, and here we are now. And what we say, you know, at the Green Revolution Foundation, that is this climate emergency and this environmental destruction that we are doing is the symptom of a problem, is the effect. But the cause of this problem is the infinite greed. And if we don't realize this infinite greed, and if we don't see our doing, then we're never going to be solving the climate crisis. So, but the good news is that we have a solution to solve this our greed problem, and that is the global solution. So we have a global problem which requires a global solution. So how do we solve problems? We organize ourselves around them. And every organization needs an economic engine, an economic heart, which creates and pumps money into climate action. But also we need an information system, a global mind, which connects everybody on the planet who's already doing something for their community. So with the Green Revolution Foundation, we do these 2 things. First, for the economic engine, the economic heart, we are opening up the world's first climate action coffee shop in Amsterdam. Yes, if you don't know what a coffee shop in Amsterdam is the place where you can legally purchase recreational marijuana. That is, these are the coffee shops of Amsterdam. So we are opening this coffee shop. Our production and retail is going to be 100% legal. we have a total transparency policy, so everything we do is reachable. And also what we say that 100% of our profits are going to fund climate art and climate action projects. But I'm going to give you later on how we fund and what we fund with Green Revolution. So what you need, but always we're going to need this information system, this global mind. And for that, we are developing a mobile app. And this mobile app is going to have two basic functions. First, it's going to be there to connect. So people and organizations can connect through causes like deforestation. The app is going to structure these connections by locality. So we have global problems and we have local problems. We are going to be connecting individuals and NGOs around local problems like deforestation in Amsterdam. So people can join into these activities and help the community to grow create a new community garden, revitalize a nature site. So that is the locally organizing function of the app. The second part is the global organizing function, where we see organizations and also individuals can connect through causes like deforestation or water sanitation or fight against poverty. And organizations all across the globe, like for example, an organization in Canada, in South Africa, in Japan, in Netherlands, and in Germany can come together around the cause, talk about it, share information, share funding, and try to solve these problems, because deforestation is a local problem, but also it's a global problem. So we need to find an approach which is taking into account that the deforestation is an immense problem. But the second function of the app is going to be there to fund this operation. So what's going to happen when our customer goes into our shop or buys something online, this app is going to transfer a little part on their purchases into our own Green Revolution cryptocurrency. And this cryptocurrency can be donated to artists and activists. This cryptocurrency can be used for more shopping, or we can put it into Green Revolution seed investments. And these seed investments are going to be basically industrial hemp carbon capture. I don't know if you are familiar with industrial hemp, but we are looking into the hemp solutions for our existing problems, and that's why we call hemp a miracle. That's our miracle, because we can make more than 25,000 different products from hemp. We can make bricks and concrete, so we can build houses. We can use it for fibers, so we can make clothes. We can make cooking oil, biofuel, biodiesel, compostable, bioplastics, fiber optics, nutrition, food, farming tools. So the possibilities are infinite. When we think about the trees and how many trees we cut down 90,000 trees every day, 15 billion trees a year. We can stop all these trees being cut down, because we can make paper from hemp. We can make all everything what we need, furniture, everything what we need. We can make it from hemp. So we don't need to cut down more trees. But the people in the Green Revolution working on our hemp research are gonna give you a little more in-depth talk about how hemp is amazing. So that is the hemp thing. And when the cryptocurrency is invested in the hemp, what we're going to do is we grow the hemp, we harvest the hemp, we sell it to the manufacturers, and then we give the profits back to the community. So that is who owns Green Revolution shares will be not just be capturing CO2, because hemp is one of the best ways to capture CO2. 1 hectare of hemp captures 15 tons of CO2. So it's one of the most efficient ways to capture CO2, and we can make almost anything out of it. So, but when we think about the climate emergency and the already existing environmental impact, hemp is amazing. So we have a team in India, and we are forming a team now in Africa, and looking into the solutions to the existing problems and how hemp can help. So we're going to be talking about, Nayana is going to be coming with the GR Asia, and talking about what are the problems there. But hemp is really great to clean water, to revitalize soil, to remove the soil degradation. So that hemp is a lifesaver and also regenerates nature. So the cryptocurrency is gonna be our financing, but what we are doing with the economic system, how we can change our economy. There is a lots of talks about the donut economy and the well-being economy, which we are in part. We are a member of the Well-being Economic Alliance. There is lots of talks how to what is the system where money is not the end goal, but a means to an end. We can use money as a tool, and creating this circular economy and creating this sharing economy. So when somebody goes into our shop, what we say that 100% of our profits are funding climate action. But you can imagine the same thing when you're going into an Aldi, an Albertine, a Vodafone, or any international multinational corporation, and you buy stuff. The profits from your purchase, what is happening right now is going into an international bank account and then to a tax haven. What can we do is we can turn profits into social value. So imagine a place where you just go in, buy your daily stuff, and the profits created by your consumption are going into education, healthcare, fight against poverty, climate action, and almost any cause. That's how we turn consumption into social value, and that's how we reach the donut economy. That's how we create a system where our collective human rights are being implemented, and we're going to be implementing these collective human rights. So that is the economy and economic system, and we want other organizations to replicate our model. We are not just thinking about opening a cafe shop franchise, which is going to be funding climate art and climate action projects all around the world. Because when we think about a cafe shop, it generates a lot of money. So we are going to be putting all our money into amazing climate art and climate action projects, and also funding this global hemp revolution, and connecting the people who are already impacted by the climate crisis to the solutions and to the know-how, to the innovations around hemp, and how we can save lives and save nature around the globe with hemp. So that's what we're going to do. And for that endeavor, for that huge task ahead of us, we are looking for the best hearts and minds in humanity. So if you are interested, and I hope you have a couple questions for us, just feel free to put these questions in the chat, and we're gonna be seeing you in the breakout rooms. But if you're interested in Green Revolution, please find our website. You can find the join section. We are looking for social psychologists. We are looking for innovators. We are looking for activists. We are looking for musicians. We are looking for poets, writers, designers, because we know that the climate crisis is a huge issue, and it's a multi-disciplinary issue. And we have to look for the existing knowledge, and we have to look for innovations, and we have to look for our imaginations to solve this huge problem. And as I mentioned, social psychology, I want to give the word to Beste, to talk about why social psychology is important when we talk about the climate crisis, and why what we can do with social psychology and communication, and what we are doing with Hannah is going to be coming later on. What are the campaigns that we are developing with our social psychology team?
All right, thank you, Attila. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon. Well, it's afternoon here in Amsterdam. Maybe it is another time wherever you are. We're really glad to have you. My name is Beste. I'm a behavioral scientist and a social psychologist, and I have been involved with researching sustainable behavior and specifically how we can encourage sustainable behavior for over a year now. I joined the Green Revolution about 2 months ago, I think, and I'm mostly involved with the communication and campaign, not management, but creation, basically. What can we do to get people involved? What can we do to get people inspired? Types of questions is what I'm focusing on. I want to just explain why it is so difficult to encourage sustainable behavior through a psychology perspective and go over what we are trying to do with our strategies. So, when we are usually any type of action comes with a reaction. For example, when we press a button in the room, we expect the light to turn on, right? These things happen back to back, and then we associate these things together as one being the reason of the other one. When the second action, or I'm going to call it the reward, comes in very late, it becomes very hard to associate action A with the reaction. This happens when we are trying to lose weight or when we are trying to quit smoking. For smoking, we know it is bad. We know it is bad in the long term, but the punishment, which is the disease or health problems that might come with smoking, comes in so late, 10, 15, maybe 30 years after the behavior itself, that our brains cannot immediately associate smoking with that type of health behavior, and then we just don't engage with it. Same thing happens with losing weight. Because the rewards are so delayed, we are more prone to giving up earlier in the process. And with sustainable behavior, this becomes even harder because the rewards of choosing a sustainable lifestyle right now as an individual or making conscious consumption decisions that are pro-environmental, that are sustainable, becomes really difficult because the rewards of doing those, inconveniencing ourselves, comes in so late in the future that we might not even live to see it. And that is why encouraging sustainable behavior is becoming really hard. But we know that the detrimental effects of living such an unsustainable lifestyle, not just as individuals, but in the entire world, in the companies and their lifestyles, is becoming really detrimental. And now we can actually see the negative effects in our environment. That is why we have the sense of urgency, and we want to communicate the sense of urgency with our audience in that way. I just want to share my screen just to show a little bit of visual aid about where we are as an individual around the world and around the environment. So we have some knowledge about what is harming the environment and how we can solve. We have our attitudes, we have our responsibilities towards ourselves, our loved ones, and towards the earth itself. We have emotions. Some of us have stronger emotions than others. And we have our values, norms, and goals around the environment. But the most important thing I would like to focus here is the efficacy part. Efficacy is basically believing that we have the control and the capacity to actually change something. And this becomes increasingly important when it comes to pro-environmental behavior, because this type of behavior is really affected by our values, attitudes, our knowledge, of course, the incentives, but most importantly, the possibilities to act pro-environmentally. So our campaign really focuses on positive messaging, hope type of messaging, to really let people in and make them believe that we can change things if we come together. Lately, we've been seeing a lot of new vegan products around the supermarkets here in Amsterdam, for example, and that just didn't happen because of no reason. It happened because there was demand. Now people wanted to have these types of options, and as this become an increasing preference, the companies had no choice but to actually offer these types of options to this new group of consumers. And we can do this with everything. We have the capacity, we have the control, and if we put enough attention and effort into demanding it, we can make a change. And that is what our communication and campaigns mostly focus on right now, such as the Package Correct campaign, where we invite everyone to share obnoxiously packaged food or any other goods that create so much external waste. And we want to invite everyone to call these types of packaging out so we can demand a better use of the raw materials. Yeah, that is all I have to say. I will pass it to Hannah now to discuss more about our strategy, another talented social psychologist in our team.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Hannah. I am a social psychologist from the University of Groningen. And just as Beste, I am part of the Love Department of the Green Revolution. And together with her, I try to find ways in which we can communicate our strategies and reach people. I think we're all aware that the climate crisis is one of the most important issues to solve in our century. And social research has found that it is a collective problem that requires collective solutions. So our task and our goal is to find solutions in which we can engage people in climate adaptive and climate protective behaviors. And our idea is that we will not only use social media as a platform to reach people, but that we have a specific strategy in which we want to communicate our hemp solutions to global problems. And our idea is that over the weeks, we will post social media posts not only to engage people, but also to educate them about what hemp can do. Hemp can save the trees, it can save the bees, it can clean the air, and it can clean land and water. And some people might be aware of this already, but some are maybe not. So we want to get together and really get people on our boat and engage them in our mission to a green, fair, and to a just future. And together with Beste, I am trying to develop strategies how we can solve that. And yeah, that is all I think I have to add. And I'm very excited for this event today. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Beste, and thank you, Hannah. I think this part of communicating and how we can use existing knowledge and existing this is science, social psychology, and how we can get people to reduce waste or use less CO2 is a very important part. But I want to add in that when we think about the miracles of hemp, the communication, giving people those miracles, what is important for Green Revolution is that we want to write a story how humanity solves the climate crisis. And that is I think one of the most important part, because if we cannot get a vision about what the future going to look like, we are never going to be solving this problem. But getting into the part where I turn to Nayana and want to hear from her, because Nayana is from Nepal, but she works in the GR Asia team. So I just wanted to get her ideas and opinions, and what is happening in India and what is happening in Nepal, and what are the problems there, and what are the solutions we can use.
Yeah, so hello everyone, I'm Naina, and I'm so happy to be here. and I'm working in the GR Asia team in Green Revolution, and we have been targeting. We have been focusing more in India and Nepal for now. For the initial phase, we might go further if it works, and we cannot, we cannot look out the countries like India and Nepal, like Asian countries where people are suffering. People are fighting for a basic needs like water. They are not getting a clean water, which is the basic right of every human being. But still, being not being able to have that is the biggest concern for us, and we want to provide clean water for everybody in India and Nepal by introducing to people with the hemp biochar, which will clean the water, and it will make the water drinkable for everybody in India. And with that, we also concerning, and we are also focusing on the waste management system in India and Nepal. In India and Nepal, there is a very few concept of waste segregation, especially in the rural part of India and Nepal. And because of that, it get more polluted. People don't throw the waste in the proper place, so they tend to throw it in the streets, or wherever they like. So we want to introduce them with the come with the hemp plastics, which can be biodegradable, and it can mix up with the soil, and it goes to the earth, back to the earth. And we also want to introduce encourage to the people of the India with the hemp farming, which is not legal in the all part of India for now. So it's legalized in only 2 states of India, and we are more focusing in the Uttarakhand state of India, which has been legalized for the hemp farming. So we want to encourage for the farmers of there, and we also want to educate them with the benefits of hemp, hemp farming, and they can also get the economic benefits from them. They can make life out, they can live out of it. So yeah, we want to do that both in India and Nepal. And Nepal has always been the mass production of the hemp, but it has always been a use of that plant as a weed and as a drug or something. So because of that, Nepal government banned it for some time. And now that the government has realized the power of this plant, it has so much potential to grow the country where it has always been growing, and we are neglecting the power of that plant. So because of that, what government has done in recent years, that they have legalized it. So we can but people are still afraid to do it, because they are so afraid. They have no knowledge about they are very few knowledge. I would say I would not say they have no knowledge. They have knowledge about producing the wheat, but they don't have the knowledge of hemp and wheat are two different things, comes out of the same plant. So there are people, we want to introduce to the people of Nepal the benefit of this hemp plant, and we can make the environment sustainable out of it. We can have a clean environment, and we can benefit from it, everybody, and we can also make a income out of it. We can do the economic growth out of this plant. So we want to introduce this to the people in Nepal, and we want to come up as a strong hemp producer. So we want to that has been our plan in Nepal and in India. So we in Nepal, Nepal has always been a manufacturer of this hemp textile, but it has not gone more from that. It has always been producing the hemp bags, hemp clothes, and it is exporting to the foreign countries as well. But they have not been introduced to the biochar, which can benefit the people of Nepal with the clean drinking water, and the hemp plastics that can be easily degradable. And we need to at this point of time, everybody is finding the solution for the plastic, replacement of the plastic. And lots of people have come up with the idea of having this glass jars and glass, glass products. But replacing a plastic from a jar glass would be a bit difficult and would be a bit, unpractical. You can imagine going to a shop and you buy tomatoes in a jar, glass jar. It will be a bit unpractical. So for that reason, if we introduce to wall with the plastic, but it's a biodegradable plastic, it's made out of hemp, then I think the consumers also will be very happy to happily use it, and all the wall can live peacefully under this beautiful sky. Yeah, so this is our plan in India and Nepal, so we have been focusing on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nayana.
Thank you. I just wanted to give another extra information here that our GR Africa team is already growing, and that the problems are the same, almost the same. So the water sanitation problem, the soil degradation problem, the pollution problem is the same in Africa, and we want to develop these solutions with the communities there. So we want to find one region or one country which is legalized already hemp, and then we're gonna introduce these solutions, these hemp solutions, to other countries, so everybody can see the benefits. And now I want to give the quick word to Luija, because yeah, it's a global organization. So, and she is trying to create some order in the chaos.
Yeah, thank you, Attila. Welcome everyone. I'm Luija, and thanks again for joining. So yeah, as Attila said, I'm here trying to organize our group of volunteers, since we have volunteers joining every day. And what our goal is to have a group of volunteers that are very interconnected. So we are creating this small team groups, as you've heard, the love department, for example, that are concerned about how are we communicating our strategy and what we want to do. And we'll have other smaller groups, bigger groups, group of artists, groups for the app development. In the end, our goal would be for everybody to feel empowered and safe to participate and to share their knowledge and to contribute how they can in any department. So we don't want somebody to be stuck in a place and just be there, but if they know and they can contribute with anything, everybody can feel free to join us and help us finding this global solution. So I'll leave the floor to Jeremy, which is the researcher. So he will give you more detailed knowledge about how we can find a solution.
Whoop, thank you, Luija. Hello, everybody. My name is Jeremy. I'm a member of the Research and Innovation Group. So my role is primarily finding the solutions to the problems that we're facing every day. So earlier, Attila mentioned the coffee shop. So that's one of my primary objectives at the moment, is as we're opening it, there's a extensive waste factor that comes with businesses, especially in city and urban areas. The great thing about our opportunity is that we're actually partnering with the Greenlight District, which is based in the heart of Amsterdam. So we're taking data from the central district of the city and finding a way to make it a completely zero emission, self-contained loop energy source. So the objective is it goes beyond the electricity to the gas, to the water, and there's actually a lot of pieces to the puzzle that we're putting together that can change from different things. Fortunately, with the coffee shop, it's very easy to control what comes in. So at that point, we're trying to find solutions to maximize the output. So everything that's coming into our shop has a tertiary purpose, where everything from a napkin has to be biodegradable. It has to have some other use beyond just like wiping your mouth after a cup of coffee or eating, you know, a pie or pastry. So everything from that to collecting rain runoff to help support the green roof systems and to create an environmental atmosphere where even in the heart of a city, you still feel it's a unique experience of you being attached to a world outside of the chaos of the city. So we're looking to not only create the experience from a energy side where we're providing as much energy for the neighboring businesses as possible, but we're also trying to find ways that when you come, it changes your personal energy within the coffee shop. We're reaching out to groups that use flower pots that you don't need to water because they collect the humidity from the air. So there's a lot of extensive things that we're looking into to find solutions for the coffee shop itself. And that will really minimize, beyond that, our carbon footprint of the overall industry. So we're trying to find everything from how do we minimize transportation to how do we reuse the coffee grounds as an alternative heat source. And there's all sorts of different ways to do it, but there's a lot of little things that we're actually focusing on, new and innovative ways that are exciting that people can actually use and can be replicated on a global scale. So different things that create more electricity than they require. So even if you're in an area that has minimal electricity or no electricity, or the electricity goes out, there's still a way for you to have the things that you need. So that's a really fun and it's a very interesting project, and we're working with a bunch of universities and reaching out to engineers to find the best solutions that we can replicate as we continue to grow our coffee shops. The other side of the projects that I'm working on are research for the miracles that Attila touched on as well. So there's a lot of different aspects to the research side that, as Attila said, there's so many different uses. My goal is to find as many uses and to find a way to not only optimize them, but find ways to apply them at a scale that is appropriate. So we're reaching out to groups like we're using the GR Asia and GR Africa groups that are really going to help us create these scalable systems that it goes beyond implementing the typical Western ideology of you need electricity and you need internet, and it goes into what do you actually need? What is your soil quality? How, like, do you need, what's the water runoff? If you have monsoons, how much topsoil is left? What's the degradation of the soil? What types of crops are you growing? What's the, like, how healthy, what does your soil look like? What is its texture? And really diving deeply into what the actual needs of are. If they need more food, then we focus on a system that is designed specifically for that based on their situations, rather than a like a miracle pill where everything is solved from one solution. We're taking a collective brain of this global network that we're developing to really find ways for each community specifically to say, if your key issue is your water waste, like your water contamination from fertilization and pesticides, or maybe you have a textile facility upriver and it's creating waste downstream and it's polluting your water system. Finding ways that they're able to clean the water system continually on their own and really enabling them to take control and live the existence that they want, rather than telling them how to live their lives. So we're giving them all the tools they need. We're giving them the systems and saying, here's phase one. You told us that your biggest issues are food and clean water. Okay, here's what you can do to give you those. Then we can develop into shelters, we can develop into building schools, and really build from that, but focusing on the top three of food, shelter, and water as the primary objective for our solutions, and taking these universal solutions of all these miracles that hemp offers and providing those solutions. So with that, like to recap on the network, we're using different groups from academic institutions to hemp businesses to entrepreneurs, and really reaching out to anyone and everyone we can and trying to find the connections to optimize the solution. So we're working with different groups from biomolecular companies that are actually creating algae that are fire retardant or can actually clean water in like if there's fire contamination, like the fires in Australia or California, they used it in the water system to clean that. How can we use biochar with that to also create an additional filtration system, or even algae that for our construction partners will help create a hempcrete that is more durable and is able to support its own weight. So a big issue with hempcrete is it's viewed as expensive. We're finding ways to make it more affordable and more easy access to it. But now we're getting into how do we get it to stabilize and replace concrete? And the big issue is its ability to support weight on its own. So right now, most hempcrete requires some other additional support system, whether it's metal beams or concrete. And so we're trying to connect these two different areas to create something that will make it accessible for everyone on a global scale. So it goes beyond a specific, you don't have to necessarily be a farmer. If you have projects you're working on or things that you need, that's really my primary objective with these goals, is to find the issues so we can create a solution with this network of all of these brilliant minds that we're talking to. So sorry for going on a bit of a rant, but yeah, thank you everyone for being here and yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeremy. I think now we get what this green revolution is all about. When we talk about weed, we talk about solutions, and what we say on the website, it's already there that we weed against greed, or we are against greed. And what does it mean? What is the greed? Is all of, greed is, you can imagine greed like a tiny black hole, like a tear on your soul. And when it comes from the lack of love. And when you start feeding this black hole, it gathers mass and it gathers gravitation. It has a stronger gravitational pull, and it consumes your soul. And that's what the science is already telling us, that when you get richer and richer and you get more wealthy, you're distancing yourself from society and also from your capacity to relate to human emotions. So your humanity fades away. What we want in the green revolution is to bring out the best hearts and minds in humanity to create these solutions. And I'll be happy to open up the breakout rooms for a little while. And after we come with the Q&A, we talked a little bit much. We want to meet with you and hear from you. So see you at the breakout rooms if we are ready, Anthony.
Breakout rooms open now. Everybody should be joining.
Something like YouTube or something. Oh, yeah, cool.
Exactly.
Look forward to do that.
Yeah, me too. It seems it was a very, very interesting session, and now everyone's coming back.
Yeah. So if you want to check our website, somebody should post. Oh yeah, I see Luigi is posting. Okay, very nice. I'm glad that everybody is turning back into the main chat. If you have some questions, feel free, ask. Oh, you're really. Okay, just join in, easy. If you have some questions, just also put it down in the chat or just ask them. Feel free to ask anything, and if I cannot answer, then somebody else will from the group. If not, I'm gonna be also, yeah, there is lots of people joining back, so yeah. Feel free to ask questions, put it in the chat, or just unmute yourself and comment, and if yeah, just feel free to jump in. We are happy to answer to your questions.
I've actually, so I was in the middle of answering one for Cigar in our group. So he was asking, how do we control the waste management aspect in terms of the cradle to cradle mentality, so close the loop. And I was telling him that we're actually working from the back to the front. So We're already reaching out to a waste management group that handles specifically bio waste and the bioplastics and biopapers, and say, okay, what can you actually accept? What does it break down into? And how can we repurpose it for the city? Because a lot of the issues with plastics nowadays are they go to a general landfill, and it's you put your plastic in the plastic bin, but it doesn't always go to the next use that it's supposed to because it mixes with other things. So with this, it'll go to a specific place within, it's next to the city. So it minimizes the carbon footprint in terms of the petroleum used to get it there and transport it. But it's also used that waste, they're breaking it down to create new bioproducts or different types of soil or gardening materials, even to things where they're actually using it to create gas and electricity for the city of Amsterdam. So everything that comes in will continue to have a purpose all the way through. So by finding the waste center and saying, what can you do and what do you do, what percentages are used and what do you get out of it, we can then maximize what we buy and direct what products are actually being made from the other side, where it's when you're making bioplastics, okay, we only work with these types of bioplastics because our facilities only take these. And it's completely separate, and not having any plastics other than these specific grades reduce the waste that leaves the coffee shop. So everything is contained within. There's no point in taking something out and contaminating other sources. So the waste management is from the back all the way to the front to make sure that every piece is calculated and it's all controlled.
Could I just add to that?
Yeah, of course.
Just to give a specific example, because everyone's talking about smaller products like food waste and packaging.
Right.
I'm talking about heavy duty stuff.
Okay.
Like, for example, I know a lot about the phytoremediation properties of hemp and what they've been doing in Italy to remediate the soil pollution. I know all about that. There's a lot of good stuff happening in those countries. My question is that if we look at the supply chains, going back to somewhere like in the global south, or somewhere in Africa or India, and I'm talking specific products where products that have actually been purported to actually offer a solution, sustainable solution. For example, we've got wind turbines and solar panels, and very few people will actually ask, where did the material for those solar panels and wind turbines come from? They come from Congolese, they come from Northeast India, and people think, oh, it's just clean. Well, no, it isn't. It's actually coming from a mine. It's actually being extracted. So the problem here is that forests are being deforested in Northeast India, in Uttarakhand, where one of your leaders said, in Uttarakhand. So imagine this scenario, that the land is being deforested of the forests and the soil for the lithium and the cobalt in one part of Uttarakhand, and in another part of Uttarakhand, they're growing hemp to remediate the soil. So you see the problem that we have here, that we are demanding products that we think are renewable and sustainable, and actually it's doing the exact opposite, and then we're going to grow the hemp to actually clean up the mess of the renewables.
Yeah.
So the question is that there needs to be a massive system change of the system change thinking.
Right. Yeah, and it's specifically working with the farmers beyond that, of saying, what do you need, and allowing them to determine what's impacting them and find the solutions for them to go up the chain to feed it how it should be done, without having that industrial impact of, I need this, grow this. We're creating it of, if you grow hemp initially, it's going to give you a sustainable way of food. It'll give you a way, like, here's how you can break down the hemp to get a use out of every single stalk that you have, rather than wasting any of it. There's actually a use for every single piece of the hemp, from the leaves to the soft woody stem. And it's really creating that universal application of it, where it's, your need is this, and we'll find something for you beyond that. So if you have remnants where it's like the woody stem, we can use that for hempcrete, and we can have one center where it's specifically for those farmers to use to get some source of income from their quote unquote waste that they're not using for their products for themselves, and allowing it to be, we can make it as economical for them, or we can make it as beneficial for them in their communities as they want, and really allow them to expand the product from their own, rather than saying, you need to grow this because we need this. It's, you need to grow this. How can we facilitate you to live a better, happier life? And it takes that greed out, because we're just giving them the control of the reins, where at that point we'll have an influence on the source. And from the source, we then would have the impact of how it's distributed and where it goes from where it's grown. So it's, do you want to sell this? Okay, we'll find someone that will buy it from you. And controlling that transition of the logistics from farm to, if it goes to the textiles, if it goes to hempcrete, if it goes to biochar, and controlling that system, because that's part of the network. The network is getting everyone as close together as possible. So if you're a farming community in India, how can we get these facilities close to you and everyone's on the same page? And there's no way to guarantee there's no corruption within the system, but we're doing our best to control it from every phase, where it's, we're connecting the dots of what the people need and say, okay, we have a textiles person in the same, you know, state in India as you. If you need hemp fibers or have extra things that you want to sell, you can give it, like, this person wants to buy them, and creating that where the network is within itself stable.
Yeah, I would jump in a little bit here, because as you mentioned, Sagar, I just wanted to give other questions. There are some connecting questions, but what you mentioned, that I think it's very important, that you know, the renewable energy and where these wind turbines are coming from, and it's mountaintop removal, and you know, lithium and the batteries and all this. It's destruction of nature. I totally agree, and we need a huge turn on what we do, and that's why we are writing now the United Nations our movement for climate change award application to be at the COP this year. So Green Revolution will be at the COP this year, and we're going to bring the message that the greed has to stop. We cannot sustain our lives, and everything comes back to that point, because if we decide not to destroy the planet, we will not going to be destroying the planet. So that is what Green Revolution is about. But I have another question here. So a friend just sent me this link. Okay, not this. Oh yeah, the first one. Are you starting to focus in CO2 capture through hemp industries? Do you consider other types of biochar from residual biomass? That was a question from you, social volunteer. So I think Jeremy maybe can just quickly answer this question.
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time, Attila?
Yeah. So what are you starting to focus on CO2 capture through hemp industries? Yes. Do you consider other types of biochar from residual biomass?
Yes. The reason that we're focusing on biochar specifically from hemp is because it's multi-use and its ability to collect the carbon and contain it. So from the biochar with the hemp, it continues the cycle where as you're growing it, you can get different uses. The biochar was originally from it was labeled as waste, and it's actually one of the most useful, and I project will be one of the most expensive pieces of the hemp. But for now, it collects enough carbon that you can put it into soils in different uses. And because you can grow it so quickly year round in so many different places, it diversifies its ability to impact communities. So you can grow it in dry, arid areas. You can grow it in mountain areas without topsoil. So really the diversity and complexity that it can grow in, and the minimal needs for water, where it requires so much less water than other plant materials. It's not the only source of biochar, but I believe it's an amazing focus because it allows us to use hemp other ways, and it also allows different communities to have access to it that really provides benefits for them.
Yeah, that's great. And we have another great question. Smallholder farmers in developing countries like Tanzania are suffering with soil infertility. How Green Revolution can empower them, especially in Tanzania? Thank you, Jackson. Thank you for that question, because we are setting up right now our Green Revolution Africa team. And this Africa team is based in, it starts in Ghana, because in Ghana, there is legal to grow hemp. And there is already a hemp farming community in Ghana. But the neighboring countries like Togo, Nigeria, and also we have a connection in Kenya, and we want to connect with you, Jackson. We want to create solutions. So we are starting from what is our strategy is, like in India, we are starting from one region where it's legal to grow, one country in Ghana where it's legal to grow, and we want to bring the solutions for the soil problem, for the water sanitation problem, or even in the paper problem, where when producing books and education materials are equaling cutting down trees, that we can introduce the hemp paper in that communities and also help the fertilization of the soil. So maybe Jeremy can jump on just for one or 2 minutes, how hemp is clearing the soil and what is the method behind that.
Yeah, so with hemp in the soil, there's different ways that the soil is impacted for different reasons. So anything from the way that you rotate the crops to the types of crops you're actually growing, different crops will absorb different nutrients and they'll absorb them at different rates. So with the hemp, it's not entirely you grow one season of hemp, and we know you can grow approximately hemp 3 times in a year. It's not one of those where you grow hemp once and it replenishes the soil. There's different things that it does, where if you have a lot of water runoff, where you have monsoons and seasons where the soil is not absorbing the water, the hemp does an extremely good job of actually getting a deep root system that helps aerate the soil and allows the microbes in to where you can actually have it allows the soil to repair itself. So as you do that repetitively, you can do different rotations. Adding the biochar allows us to get the actual toxic nutrients out. So things like fertilizers and pesticides, they actually are residually in the soil they can be in there for up to 5 years. So if you're trying to go organic, or if it's something where your soil can actually become toxic or too acidic from all of these additives, we can use the biochar or other hemp products like byproducts to actually take those out of the soil and give it a chance to heal itself. Because if there's too much acid or too much fertilizer and pesticide, the microbes can't actually grow to make the soil healthy. And even things like worms, if you don't have any growth or any organisms in the soil, then it's really difficult for anything to get enough nutrients from those organisms to complete the cycle. So hemp requires the fewest amount, which allows us to aerate. It allows us to actually get the microbes in. And then from there, we can either use it as a stable crop where you can just grow it consistently. You can use it as a rotation crop where there's farmers in the US that are using it, and they plant it short so that it grows up to 3 meters. And that actually clears all the weeds out of the field, so that the next set of crops that come in, they have a completely open patch of lands that they don't need to till, because it's already aerated from the roots. It's removed the weeds because they can't grow under the canopy of the leaves of the hemp. So there's different things that we can do to repair the soil based on what the issues are. But that's why we have the questions where it's, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And that really gives us the information to say, okay, here's how we can address this problem from our network and our experience. This is the best way to repair or to replenish the nutrients.
thank you, Jeremy. I just want to maybe Nayana is here because there is a question. How do you think education about climate change and how harmful plastic is can be spread into the interiors of a country with a population like India? And also, how can an alternative be reached out to the people in the same time? So I think that that question is about what kind of maybe solutions that we can offer to India and the plastic pollution. And we think about Nayana, do you remember we were talking about women's hygiene, and
Yeah.
maybe that's an important part of this discussion.
Yeah. Talking about the plastics in talking about this environment pollution in India, a country like where the population is so much and the pollution is also so much because of this environmental knowledge is there but not implemented, I would say. And yeah, so that in every place that what we can do is that we can aware people, and we can first and foremost we have to aware people about the hemp. What is hemp and how we can the benefits of hemp. If we can educate them from the childhood, from the child, then they will not think hemp as a weed. They will not think hemp as a only a bad plant that only can take you to a high phase, or you can just consume it as a drug. We have to make sure that everybody knows about the hemp and what it can do to the environment. And this would be the first and foremost thing we need to do, is aware people. And I think we should do it from the childhood, so that they don't have to do research on hemp when they get into college. And that is the one thing. And another thing is that what we can do is that hemp plastics, that can be used as a plastic. It is a plastic, but it is not it's not going to harm environment. So we have to I think the first thing in the country like India is to do is to educate from the school level. I think we should teach children, and then so that when they grow, when anybody says hemp, then they will not say that, oh, it's a weed. No, they will be conscious, and they will um, they might even come up with the more innovative ideas, that we know that hemp is so powerful, and they might have come with the great ideas of solving the environmental issues of the country.
Yeah, thank you, Nayana. And I think I just want to add here that we are going over the schedule, but what I wanted to add here in this section, that hemp, when we think about hemp and how we create this awareness around hemp, we want to introduce these different products. So there is a huge problem with women hygiene, and hemp sanitary pads are the best way to introduce something, a product which is biodegradable, compostable, not harming the environment, and also helping a community. So in that sense, that when we think about hemp, we think about solutions. When we think about hemp, we think about miracles, because we have huge problems, but every problem has a solution. The Green Revolution is thinking about giving this global solution, about joining together and finding out these solutions. Green Revolution is gonna be there to fund and facilitate this solution. We're gonna fund artists, we're gonna fund activists with our coffee shops and our coffee shop franchise, and we're gonna connect people with our mobile app, and we're gonna be sharing with the decentralized finance. We're going to be sharing our economy, and everybody's going to share the profits of these activities, and hopefully we can help people around the globe. But the most important thing, that we have to stop the greed and create a positive change. Thank you very much. We went overboard, but there was really great questions. I hope, Luis, you maybe take some notes from the just copy a couple of uh, good emails and contacts. Feel free to contact me or contact the Green Revolution. Find our website, which is greenrevolution.earth. On the website we have a Patreon, so if you want to chip in like €5 or €10 a month to help our operation, that you are welcome. We're gonna be launching our social media campaign soon. You can find lots of great music on our Spotify set list. You can find lots of amazing videos about history, climate change, hemp solutions on our YouTube channel and set list. Thank you very much for the Catalyst 2030 to host this event. Feel free to reach out, send emails. I will be happy to talk with anybody and everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Have a wonderful evening, day, night, and morning. It depends where you are. And see you at our LinkedIn, our Facebook, our Instagram, and all the social media platform. And if you like Reddit, then we have a Reddit also. We have a Reddit subreddit called Weed Against Greed. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope I see you soon and contact with all of you soon. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.